So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I just want to talk about something real quick. And this is imperative to, if you're building a program that has structure, this is highly important for the people to start to ingrain and embed into the understanding of what's expected of them. This will help. This will help to level the playing field, so to speak, when it comes to emotions and thought processes, so to speak. Point blank period, if you agree to do something, then it is assumed that you are fully aware of what it takes to do that thing. So if you go into a particular job and you say, I want to be a cook. I want to cook. I got cooking experience. I want to cook. You go into this place, this restaurant, and they hire you as a cook. And your first day on the job is bananas. You got ticket after ticket after ticket coming through the machine. The window is filled up. People dropping food plates. Orders is coming back. Customers are not satisfied, so on and so forth. And you got a long 9-10 hour shift pertaining to cooking and cleaning up after yourself. You beat. It really wore you out. You sitting in your car after work, sitting in the parking lot, and your feet hurt, and your hands hurt. You smell like grease and food, and there's all type of stuff on your clothes, and so on and so forth. You say to yourself, and this is the important part, because you might not have expected it to go that way. You might have thought it was all roses and nice, and it would be a nice environment, and you find out that the people are obnoxious and abrasive, and the person working next to you is dirty, and the person to your right don't help, and it's you by yourself in this battlefield, and so on and so forth. You sit in your car and you say, whew, I made it. It would be asinine for you to assume that tomorrow will be any different than today. It will be of a benefit to you to now calculate all your days as being the same exact experience that you just had at work. So I say that because one of the things that helped me get through my incarceration at the end was to anticipate problems. To anticipate problems, meaning when I lay down at night, I would automatically line up problems that I would encounter the next day, so it wouldn't throw me through a loop when it happened. I would already anticipate that my cellmate would say or do something that would piss me off. That the correctional officer would say or do something that would piss me off. That the counselor on the unit manager on the unit, the sergeant, the lieutenant, the major, even the superintendent himself might say or do something that would piss me off. Even if these scenarios never happened the next day, I still anticipated them. So in anticipation of these things happening, when they didn't happen, my day appeared to be even more pleasant than what actually was going on. Because I was anticipating problems, abrasiveness, obnoxiousness, so on and so forth. When it didn't happen, well, alhamdulillah, my day seemed to be more pleasant, more peaceful, right? And this is how I would maneuver through my incarceration. And people used to ask me, yo, bro, like, this ain't burning you out. I don't even use them terms. I don't use the term, this is burning me out. That's a conditioning phrase. If you say something is burning you out, you're conditioning yourself to be irritated by that thing. So let me advance my experience into what I'm speaking about if you're a cook. I just worked in a restaurant where there was a person who was a cook, came into the restaurant and began to complain about the cooking condition, the environment, and the people. In his complaints, he would say, at my other job, this is how things went. Since that's not the case here, he becomes irritated by cooking in this place. He agreed, this is what I tell him, you agreed to cook here though. And after the first day, second or third day working here, you should have acclimated yourself to the nonsense. When you get up in the morning time, you should already say to yourself, I'm ready to go into a place that I agreed to work at, and I know that it's going to be nonsense. At least in anticipation of the nonsense, you can catch it and maneuver around it. If you know that this person is obnoxious, abrasive, disrespectful, you can maneuver around them because you already have placed them in their particular positions. Obnoxious, abrasive, disrespectful, don't got no boundaries, always too close, touchy, whatever, handsy, whatever, right? When you fail to structure your environment in that way, you're going to continuously run into things that irritate you, piss you off, and have you complaining. Now, what's strange is that you would work somewhere for so long and still be complaining about the environment. You should have mentally adjusted by now that this is work, you're here to execute a task and leave. So, go back to the prison environment for a second. And this is from the other side of the coin. I've never been a counselor. I've never been a unit manager. I've never been somebody in charge of or overseeing a particular program. Now, I have been a peer assistant, and I've structured conversations and particular points in the day in facilitating a program. This same thing goes for people who agree to go to school, suffer through the financial strengths and restraints of school to get an education, to come out of that education, go into corrections, become a counselor, and then start to become irritated by the people who they say that they are counseling. Because for years you have been told or conditioned to anticipate that you're going to be dealing with incarcerated individuals. These individuals come from broken homes, low socioeconomic conditions, drug abuse. It's, you know, when you pull up to the prison and you fail to structure your environment with, I have to first come in here and walk through administration. And there are people who work in administration who are abrasive, obnoxious, touchy, handy, don't got boundaries. I got to get through that first. I got to make my way to my unit that I work on where my office is at. And in doing that, I got to pass through parts of the institution that are uncomfortable. I get to my office, and before I can even sit down, there's 50 inmates back to back asking me questions. 86% of the questions I can't even answer because it's not in my wheelhouse. I couldn't help you if I tried. Get to your office, and now you're irritated, frustrated, and you fail to do the job which you agreed to do because you keep looking out the window on the unit and you hate your job because the inmates are now a problem. This would be to the outside person looking in like, how could you have gone that route? How could you agree to do a job and then become irritated by that job? You should already mentally be able to maneuver through the difficulties of the job. Anticipation. I know my job is difficult, but I'm going to go in here and execute in the best manner possible and get right on out of here. There are people who use this term, I'm just here to get my 8 and skate, or get the 8 and hit the gate. No, this is prison terms, though. This is how correctional officers talk when they don't care if you live or die, when they don't care if your request is answered. They remove themselves from their responsibilities by saying, I'm just here to get my 8 and skate. I don't care what happens here. So I say that because in all the things that I'm presenting to you now is, it would be of high importance for you to structure a program by educating and informing your employees first and foremost in a room with a whiteboard or a chalkboard and detail. Being prepared for the nonsense of the day will allow you to maneuver mentally through it so you can execute at the most highest capacity possible. To allow your employees to start to create that mental process that wherever you work at, it's going to be toxic. It's going to be people who don't agree with you. It's going to be stressful and it's going to become irritable, and it will throw you off your game if you don't anticipate this irritant. Have a group discussion with your employees in the first week or so to condition them to know that they come into work to anticipate the nonsense. And that should be the name of the forum. It should be learn to anticipate the nonsense so you can execute your job at the highest capacity. Now I'm going to go back again, because this all comes from this conversation that I'm having with you comes from, I had a job washing dishes at a restaurant. Believe me, the people who I work for, I really got a lot of like for these people. They hired me, they gave me opportunity, and I executed washing dishes at the highest capacity. My particular situation was that I was in a halfway house and my job was no more than 200 feet away from the halfway house. It might have been a little more, but I'm just saying that. I could just walk to work. There would come a time, and there did come a time right now, where I left the halfway house successfully and moved almost 7 miles away from my job, which causes a transportation issue. I don't have a car to get me back and forth to work. It causes a transportation issue. So now financially, I'm paying out more for Uber to get me back and forth to work, because the bus only runs at a certain time and I get off at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So this leads me to naturally progress and look for another job. Everybody here knows, that dishwasher position turns over a lot because they hire a lot of people from the halfway house. And either they go back to jail or they move to where they from, or, they find another job after leaving the halfway house. I was there for almost 7 months. Going back to the cook that I was telling you about, he was the kind of person who complained about the work environment to the point where he actively started looking for another job because one of the other cooks bumped him and didn't say sorry. So he tells me, man, I'm out of here. I'm not even telling these people. I'm out. This place gets on my nerves. It's been getting on my nerves. I was waiting for the moment to peel. I got a job offer. I'm out. He quit. He quit before he even had another job. Right? Talk about me. I worked at a place in a restaurant where I knew that there were abrasive, obnoxious, handsy, touchy, weird people. But I anticipated it, so it didn't bother me to work around these people because I'm here to execute washing these dishes. So I've never had a problem working with the particular people that I worked with. I actually found enjoyment in working with them because I got to know who they were. You cannot change a person's particular disposition. This is who he is. He's an asshole. Just because you call him an asshole don't mean he's going to change. Can't change. You are who you are, player, so to speak. So I happen to get a job offer while working. And in the same moment that I agree to accept the job offer, I shoot text messages out to the people I work for saying, hey, thanks for the opportunity. Due to another employment opportunity, I am now leaving, washing dishes, and moving forward with my life. All of them said, man, thank you for working for us, and boom, 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 boom. The guy who was the cook text messaged me and say, you quit? ... I look at the text message like, no, I didn't quit anything. Because I didn't have a problem where I worked at. I didn't have an issue with working there. I moved on to better pay, better hours, so on and so forth. I, alhamdulillah, fixed my transportation issue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me to fix my transportation issue, where now I could just once again walk to work. So I text him back and say, no, I ain't quit. Better pay, better hours, fix my transportation issue. Alhamdulillah, I did not do what you did. You quit. ... He didn't respond to my text message. So I'm having this quick discussion with you because I just want to say, if you are the type of person who fails to anticipate issues and problems at your job, then you are going to be the type of person who is one of the worst people to work with at your job.